the children's stories sometimes, and even adults, they think of the character of Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is they're standing up against this evil King Nebuchadnezzar, and it's kind of this defiance against this worldly government, this Antichrist. We're going to defy him. But when you read the stories, you realize that they're trying to do everything they can to work with those people. Is your best witness is not in just defiance and we're not going to do anything you say. It's the human weapons of fighting evil are the weapons of force, but the force doesn't win in these battles. This is a spiritual war, and spiritual war, what you win people's hearts through love, through compassion, not through force. And that's what Daniel and his friends were doing. They were saying, they were trying to, they were negotiating with people. Would you just let us eat our own food and not eat these food that was offered to idols? And said, just give us a test. They were working with them. But when it came to the bowing down to the idol, they said, King Nebuchadnezzar, we don't have to be careful in answering you. This is something we just can't do. And so it wasn't a moment of defiance. It was a moment of, this is a line that they can't cross. It made Nebuchadnezzar so mad that he threw him in the furnace. And then Nebuchadnezzar got to see the power of God. But what we see, it's interesting in these stories, this is the same parallel that you had with Joseph in Egypt. Because God sent Joseph to Egypt first to rescue the Egyptians. There was the famine that was coming. Joseph was the rescuer. He was the hope sent to this pagan nation of Egypt. And then 400 years later, then you have Moses coming as the deliverer of his people, and Pharaoh, let my people go. So you see this contrast that God first sends, just like he first sent Jesus. He first sent Jesus as the lamb. The second time Jesus comes as the lion. It's the same thing with Joseph's first coming, and then Moses as the second coming. You see the same thing with Daniel. Daniel is this first coming with Babylon, is coming to them not as the lion, not as I'm going to defy you. He's working with them. He's the gentle voice, trying to help them to see God for who he is. Nebuchadnezzar saw God for who he is. He kept forgetting. But he was that first coming of Christ. Then we see in Revelations the second coming of the actual risen Christ. The second coming of Christ.